possible to be done for the upcoming school year?
Well, we need to act on it because
That's
we
where the
need to
time-
create a master schedule, and Mr. Cresbaugh has to work with Risa to now put in that many periods in the day and then account for the timing that goes to Wayne Risa and then to the state. So as soon as we can get that done, and we have our students filling out what classes they want, we can create the master schedule and start putting the schedule together.
Okay.
Is there an added cost to this proposal?
If it's done correctly, there should be a decrease in some of the teachers and some of the classes, because they will be able to teach 5 hours a day, so you'll need less. I'm not saying a huge decrease, maybe a couple teachers at each building, but there will be a decrease. And once the schedule is made, then I can get a final cost on what that decrease is.
So the answer is no additional cost.
Not that I'm aware of, but
We're just trying
Just a slight decrease.
to. Okay. So does anybody have any other questions on 1 and 2? That would be something that maybe we could consider tonight. Okay. How about number 3? Just elementary attendance boundaries.
I know that there's a map that was in one of the attachments that we saw. So the relatively minor adjustments. So it's, yeah, it's in here as well. Thank you very much, Ms. Allen. So it was, I don't want to say tweaking, but there were very small cleanups. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah.
I think that's the best way.
Basically, the Johnson students that came to Randall when they could actually probably be going closer to Moody.
I have kids that live right next door to Moody that are going to Randall.
And
So, in my
that's
neighborhood.
what she's talking about, because I guess they refer to it as a donut hole. There's one little section
Yeah.
that's in the middle of the Moody section that for some reason goes to Randall. So it's just, I think our idea was just to make a cleaner, so we're more neighborhood schools rather than, busing things to Randall instead of when Moody's right next to them.
Who would put that together? Transportation or?
That was between Dan Krossoff, Steve Woodward met, and I think Thor actually met. I think he had a little bit part of that. No, I think it was building size.
So by doing that, we can still have room in all the elementary schools to fit all the kids.
Correct.
Which is one of the issues, because Eureka is currently something like 116%.
Eureka closed.
I'm not, Eureka Heights. Eureka Heights, my bad. But I think it's something like 116%.
Right, correct.
But now that is something that if we were going to reconfigure those, that's something that has to be done pretty quickly to inform people where they're going to be going. Plus, you would also possibly have kids that have already gone to a kindergarten roundup at one school that would be going to a different school.
That's true.
Now, by doing that, is there a cost savings there? Would you
I think it's more of a cleanup and also kind of helps lower class sizes a little. Like he mentioned, Eureka Heights is a little overloaded, and it kind of connects with that. Maybe it's number 7 because I don't have it in front of me. With putting the school of choice together with the pupil accounting, so that when people register and they want to say, we can kind of keep an eye on the numbers, and so that we're not overpopulating one elementary versus.
And I do think
Said that
some of-
there's 4 bus routes that can be eliminated.
Exactly, there were bus routes that were estimated to be eliminated.
Instead of going to Randall, they can probably walk to Moody.
So if we
Right.
talk school of choice, if those parents my grandson, he's going out there, but if they're in the 4th grade and they want their kid to stay in elementary school to finish the 5th grade,
We discussed them being
they could maybe possibly move and stuff. There's some parents may like that.
No. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on.
Okay.
Will parents be allowed to do school choice in district if they want their kids to be together? They want their 5th grader to stay, and they want their kindergartner or 6th grader to be in that same school.
I would think that we'd have to set up some rules and discuss that, but I don't see a problem with that. That would be silly to move one student from one building, and then that would be very inconvenient.
I think we had talked about that before within district, that if people are willing to stay and just be moved to a different building, we want them to stay.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's when we had the quadrant plan, people didn't want their kids being in different buildings. They
Right.
wanted-
Yes.
And that makes
Not
perfect
so many
sense. Yeah,
transitions.
and you're right, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so that could be possibly something that we agree to tonight or vote on tonight? Or do we need any more information? Okay. Number 4, based upon the declining student population within the district, coupled with the payroll, this would be the closing of the 6th grade academy.
There's a lot of data in there, but if we need to get the team together to answer more questions, I'm sure we could do that.
I think this is something that we need to study more. There's also something that I shared with Mr. Riley today that he's going to get more data tomorrow about. So that would affect this, Mr. Riley?
Yep. I'm going to ask this question and just because I just want to have an answer. Time is of the essence whenever we're closing a school building. I know that. We've been through that before. So both this proposal and probably the one of combining the 2 high schools, is it too late in the school year to do that and do it effectively?
My opinion, but I'll defer to other more knowledgeable folks, is that if we act soon, we can still enact this effectively. I'm choosing those words carefully. But I will ask the input.
Well, with, I mean, the 6th grade academy, you know, that would be moving, we wouldn't be affecting as many kids because the 5th graders haven't ever been to the 6th grade academy versus going to the middle school. As far as the high school, it was my recommendation that we transition, and you'll see that in the proposal, that we bring the 9th graders over and that we give it a year to work out the kinks and all that other stuff. So we wouldn't just be totally closing kind of these things.
Correct. That's true.
Mr. Riley, there's enough time if we have most of the month of April to bring the 5th grade students to their respective middle schools and to have the orientations with them, to have them meet with their counselors, to have them fill out their course selection sheet as far as their elective. The 6th grade curriculum moves with the students, so the curriculum is already in place. I'm going to tell you, if you wait till the middle of May, I would not say the same thing. However, financially, I don't even know, and I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can. I feel like we need to get the dead horse out and beat it again. A decision has to be made, and the 6th grade students are already going over to the middle school. That's already taken place. So it's a matter of working with the elementary buildings. And I believe that our staff in the middle school are very capable, between Trish Cackley and Michelle Toko, to put together something that will accommodate all of that and get the parents on board and have meetings in their buildings.
Are the numbers in here of what would be at those schools?
No, I don't know that they're in there. They were in.
That would be, I mean, based on the functional capacity of both of those buildings. And if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to misspeak, but last year when we were talking about moving the 6th graders to the middle school, was there not discussion about teachers being on carts? Or was that in my...
There were questions to that, but frankly, I don't think that, based on how far that proposal went, again, because it was not as strategic as this is much more all-encompassing, that frankly they had, the principals you just mentioned, had really gone further in developing their plan because it didn't come to fruition. Is that fair?
They actually had put as much as they could into place,
Right.
trying to focus on the fact that if the board made the decision, they would be ready to go with a bell schedule, with a changing class schedule and everything for each grade.
So,
And the numbers this year declined by about 6th grade, between this year and the forecast. Last year, this year, it declined a little bit. I don't have it from me on that.
That would be of interest to me to make that decision of what the number is based on projection and what the functional capacity of those two buildings. 'Cause I'm reading on this sheet that I have here that the functional capacity of Hoover, with 30 students to class is 675, and West is 875. So would we be able to move the sixth graders to the two middle schools with that functional capacity? But we don't have that number of what the projection is anymore?
I don't know that it's in this packet. I mean, I know Mr. Creswell's got all the numbers for this year, and it's in a spreadsheet, but I have it here.
Is this correct on this page? Current building population, sixth grade is at 471 this year. Hoover is at 473, West is at 532. Are those correct?
That sounds correct. I don't-
That does sound correct.